where Bunny Hopper had some fantastic pan outs.
That's
he
true.
drew BGH on 5 for the lone giant that Fino played. Fino had to coin an Arcane Intellect to try to dig for the right cards to get out of a situation. I mean, he ran into pretty much one of the best draws that Bunny Hopper could have had early on and ended up getting out of it. So I'm not going to count him out of it. And honestly, I think that when you're just talking about purely the caliber of player, it's difficult for Fino to really be an underdog to anybody.
And already, we have some very interesting talking points in this matchup, because while we have been harping on again and again about the power of Bomb Warrior to just curve out, it's not necessarily what you're looking to do in this matchup. A lot of the time, the responsive capabilities of the Warrior is really what makes it shine in this matchup. So here, we could see in the mulligan, SilverName kept the Eternium Rover and the Clockwork Goblin. Do you like that mulligan, or do you think he should be going a little bit more aggressively for the removal?
I think an Eternium Rover can be very important in the matchup, but we have seen it a lot of times. A turn 2 Sorcerer's Apprentice really contest an Eternium Rover straight up. And that is really my one concern for SilverName on the Eternium Rover there, is if he runs into Sorcerer's Apprentice, not only is his Eternium Rover going to get checked, but the Clockwork Goblin's checked right after that as well. So in my opinion, I think that while it's an important card, I don't think it's critical, and I think I'd be mulliganing for more like the meat and potatoes of the deck rather than the appetizers.
I fully agree. I think if he already had a Shield Slam in hand, you could see the kind of synergy there where the Eternium Rover might buff up the amount of armor you have in order to kill that all-important first Mountain Giant. But on the other side of the board, Fino's hand is looking pretty much about as good as you can get.
He's up against a start that's about as good as you get, though, too. I mean, this is the benefit of Eternium Rovers. Is if they don't get checked, you get a payoff.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of early minions.
I never got that before.
Wait a minute, early minions mean that you can get ahead? Huh. Crazy how that works.
For the moment here, Fino really just trying to stall out the game, keep his hand size nice and big until he can get out that classic, I would already call it, combo of Mountain Giant Thunderous Claw.
So I really want to focus in on that turn right there, where it seems like it's so easy to play Banana Buffoon. You Frostbolt that Clockwork Goblin, you think about how much life you buy by doing that. It's probably 6+ points of damage. And so being able to play Banana Buffoon next turn, you can't play Mountain Giant Conjurer's Calling on 5 mana anyway.
Yeah. I fully agree. I think that was a really great call as well. And with the if you look at the discrete breakpoints as well, there was 5 attack on board in the 3 mechs. If Ziliax was to come down, the extra 3 attack would get it up to exactly 8 to be able to take out a Mountain Giant as well. So it's not only trying to defend his health total. I think this further ensures that he will be able to get something to stick on the board, which is really important against Warrior. If you're forcing them to use Shield Slams to kill your minions, that's fine because they'll run out eventually. If they're killing your stuff with their minions, that's when things start to get dicey.
Thinking back to yesterday where we saw Kalento always be 1 point of health above the breakpoints.
That's true.
For consecutive bomb draws for lethal. Had Boston in a bad spot yesterday in these kinds of situations. And Fino looking like he's going to get to a similar point. I am curious about this next turn, though, because he has a real call coming up with Banana Buffoon or with Ziliax and what he's going to choose and why. And now that he's drawn a second Conjurer's Calling, I feel like you have to have your eye on the Giant at this point. It's just too powerful of a chain that you can get going.
You mean he should be looking to play it on this turn or to save it
for the follow-up turn?
Yes,
Set up for the Giant with the Banana Buffoon and go from there.
I fully agree. I think with all this stuff that you could, all the Conjurer's Calls, you just need stuff you can point it at. And that is what the Giant absolutely is. I fully agree.
Just 2 Conjure. I mean, that's such a big threat to snowball the game. SilverName's going to have to check 2 big threats.
And at the moment, how does he do that?
Well, he's got a pair of Brawls.
So the plan is fall behind, let your opponent sink in those Conjurer's Calls, and then clear up afterwards.
I guess so. I mean,
it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, we did see SilverName yesterday, though, go for one of those power moves. Sometimes you got to make power moves. And he brawled in a 50-50 situation when he could have made it an 80-20 favorable to succeed on a brawl. But he needed the size of the minion in play for the brawl. He recognized that. So I'll be curious to see how SilverName goes through this. You know, yesterday in his media piece, in his interview, he talked about how he feels like control is the strongest part of his game. And I think yesterday that 50-50 call he made was a great one.
And I think what you say there about being very willing to take bold and big risks is a real facet of SilverName's play. Even just in this game, when we saw equipping the Wrench Caliber on turn 4 and didn't swing, going exactly into your opponent's Harrison turn. you know what? If they have it, they have it. I just want to get the absolute best value out of this card possible. I don't want to be wasting charges on face.
Take risks.
Yep. At this level of Hearthstone, you have to. Like you said, when your opponents are as strong as they are, you need something to go your way to be able to outclass them.
SilverName going to try to cash in on these Eternium Rovers in this spot, and very nicely does. 2 copies of War, or 2 swings of the Warpath is going to grant him 8 points of armor. 2 more attacks from the Eternium Rover, 4 more armor. And then the last Warpath kills off one of the Grave Harbors.
Works out pretty nicely.
This is just a beautiful turn.
Yeah. However, this is the situation where I think if SilverName was playing on ladder against an average opponent, he'd be feeling pretty comfortable because he's thinking, okay, they've got a minion on board, they're going to spend a bunch of Conjurer's Callings, and then I'll brawl and just be in a perfectly good position. This is where Feno will thrive. He will know exactly the amount of pressure to put forward, what to hold back, so to play around Brawl and Super Collider at the same time.
I am curious about this. I personally would be ripping a second Conjurer's Calling.
I agree. I think 2 is not quite enough, especially when he is running that Super Collider in his primary deck.
So the thought here from Feno, it feels to me like he's going, okay, 1 copy of Brawl, I have a backup plan to that. 2 copies of Brawl?
Things are getting a bit sketchy.
Now that being said, I mean, there's only big minions on board right now, so even in the face of a second copy of Brawl, doesn't necessarily work. And talking about bold calls, SilverName is going to attempt to actually win the Brawl 25% of the time. This is disaster for Feno.
I thought that was going to happen there for a second.
I bet you he was sweating that one. As those minions fly out of the Brawl in that situation, when you're the player with all the giants in play, it feels like it's lasting forever.
Yeah.
As those minions fly out.
Well, I remember that the animation used to be that the last minion to go into the Brawl in the animation always survived.
We're going way back.
But they changed that, and I remember when they changed that, that was my comfort blanket. I knew what was going to survive beforehand, but now it's a scary time with Brawls indeed.
The future is ours.
Loads up a Stargazer Luna. I think a wise choice. In the face of a Brawl, if Luna lives, you have a potential to have a pop-off turn.
Oh yeah, Luna is fantastic against Warrior, which is why this turn is actually so interesting, because you have the time to make Luna as effective as possible in this matchup. But if it survives, like you said, that's fine for a Brawl, and if he doesn't use removal here, your turn is looking amazing.
Well, SilverName goes up to 18 this turn, so Feno is 2 damage off of lethal, 14, 15, 16, 17, 1 damage off lethal, excuse me. So a single point of damage for Feno ends the game.
So he could go for that off of the Mana Cyclone, obviously. We could just see double Banana, Elemental Evocation.
Bananas first.
Yeah, and obviously you've got the Frost Nova as well. This is just looking pretty good overall, unless he can't get the damage through and the Brawl comes down successfully for SilverName. Such a tense situation.
If Feno actually does not deliver lethal this turn, I know it's a super long shot, but SilverName could technically kill Feno on the following turn. The Boombot activations could provide that much damage via the Brawl activating.
Yeah, I still think for Feno, this is absolutely the way you go for it. You've got Fireball, you've got Frostbolt, Arcane Missiles, if you're feeling lucky, could get there as well. Oh.
Well, get ready.
I've cursed it.
Damage first.
1 missile is what he needs.
He's going to draw instead.
Okay. I mean,
if he simply would have drawn first, that would have been enough. However, I think that the chances from the Mana Cyclone are technically larger.
Yes, I think that was probably right.
But second Brawl for SilverName now.
And I think, even though I was joking, I like saving this from Feno, just because if the Brawl comes down, he has a higher chance to hit face with the missiles, and if the Brawl doesn't come down, he just wins.
Oh my.
Wow.
Oh my. Oh
what?
my.
What? Whoa! Oh my god!
Feno took 19 damage!
That was 1 damage off of the maximum amount that those bombs could have dealt.
And if that other bomb connected face, Feno beat it 1!
I mean,
and no minion for SilverName means that Ziliax can't restore health.
He has lethal though with the arcane missiles because that down. Yeah.
0 minions in play.
Yeah. Well, that was scary, though. That was scary. A bomb off the top would have just ended it right there.
Oh, you're right. And there's 3 bombs in the deck.
3 bombs in the deck.
So he had a 1 in 3 chance to lose the